Hi, this is Avery Burdette from the Yamaha booth at Winter NAMM 2015. I'm the product manager for music production at Yamaha, and we're celebrating 40 years of Yamaha synthesizers. We have the first sample here is actually an SY2, which is a variation of the SY1. This is the original first Yamaha synthesizer, SY1. This was the solo keyboard on a 3-manual Yamaha Electone organ back in the day that was removed and redesigned as a standalone synthesizer. This model we have right here is the SY2, which is fundamentally the same synthesizer in a road case with a couple of extra filter and envelope parameters. I think one of the most unique things about the SY1 and the SY2 is that they're both velocity and aftertouch sensitive. At that time, that was pretty unique and innovative. The velocity sensitivity and the aftertouch is using a wooden dowel that's connected to a potentiometer underneath the keyboard. So when you dig in a little bit, it bends the wooden dowel, which activates a potentiometer. So we have a velocity and aftertouch sensitive synthesizer representing the first Yamaha synthesizer. The next one in chronological order is the 1977 CS30, a monophonic synthesizer that's unique in that it has 3 envelope generators, an 8-step analog sequencer, two voltage-controlled amplifiers, and 2 voltage-controlled oscillators and filters. And makes some really amazing sounds and is highly flexible in its programmability and making some otherworldly sounds. Move up the row a little bit to 1978 and the CS15, another monophonic synthesizer that is unique because you can use external control voltages to control the VCO2, and so it can be duophonic. And again, programmability, as you can see from the front panel, it's got a lot of knobs and a lot of bells and whistles. This is the CS80. This is commonly referred to as Japan's first great synthesizer, and it was used by everybody from Vangelis and Peter Gabriel and Stevie Wonder, basically songs in the key of life. It's really a unique 8-voice, 16 oscillator synthesizer with polyphonic aftertouch, velocity sensitive, and can I lift it up? They just don't make them like this anymore. Each one of these cards is an oscillator card. And so the 8 voices and two oscillators per voice makes 16 cards. It's also unique. You can see the key mechanism here and the polyphonic aftertouch activation. Also, it's unique in that it's the first synthesizer we had with presets. Each one of these rows is a replication of this row, a miniature version of this, so that you can go in and you can program each of these to be a preset voice, and you select them right here with the 4 memory buttons. So that was another thing that made the CS80 very unique. So that covers the analog family of our vintage display. Next, we come to the digital synthesizer section. The first representation of the digital synthesizer is the GS1 from 1981, the first FM instrument commercially available. It was an 8-operator, 4 pairs of modulator carrier operators in a 8-operator configuration. It also has polyphonic aftertouch and a magnetic card reader with these little magnetic strips that put the voices in it. One of my favorite sounds on this thing, that's a typical FM kind of sound, but with the touch sensitivity, the touch response, when you play a chord, you can bring out individual notes of the chord. And that kind of expressivity was very attractive to a great many players in the day. Next, we have the DX1 from 1983. This is a dual system with two 16-note FM tone generators that were made famous by the DX7. So this is basically two DX7s in a very interesting configuration with lots of displays. So when you change the voices, you get a representation of the algorithm right here. It shows you the carrier feedback and the feedback level, the detune. These are the envelope parameters, your scaling parameters, all with a graphic representation. This is voice A and voice B, so it's 32-note total polyphony with single, dual, and split modes. And classic FM. Then to finish out the digital family, the Centennial version of the DX7 issued in 1987, the 100th anniversary of Yamaha's manufacturing musical instruments for 1887, the Centennial version. Only 300 were made. They were priced at the time about $3,500. It's a 76-note keyboard. Keys actually glow in the dark. Gold buttons and quite an elaborate system. So next we go to our physical modeling instruments. So the VL1 and the VP1. The VL1 from 1983 is what we call a constant excitation physical modeling. It's basically to a blown pipe as a musical instrument, like a flight simulator is to an airplane in a computer. So the flight simulator has been designed and programmed with the laws of physics that operate on an airplane, lift, thrust, and drag, and with the control surfaces and so forth. This is a blown pipe simulator, so it has a driver, which is normally known as a mouthpiece, reed, double reed, single reed, lip reed, and then a pipe of a certain description of a length and a diameter and that kind of thing. So it simulates a saxophone or a trumpet or flute, something like that. Very effective use of breath control. That is the constant excitation model. The VP1 from 1994 is a forced excitation model, or the simulation of a struck membrane, like a drum, or a hammered string like a piano, that kind of model, with all those physics designed to reproduce 16 notes of polyphony with that time. And this is the most expensive example we have in our collection today, that was priced at $29,995. Only 3 were sold and less than a dozen were made ever. So it's the most rare and expensive model we have in display today. So that's basically our vintage synth display here at Winter NAMM, the Yamaha booth at 2015.